How's it going, friends and family of the internet? Welcome to the Real AF TV podcast, a show about fishing and random takes from the land of 10,000 lakes. I'm one of your hosts, Josh LaBaw.
And I'm Tim Wagner, and you snuck up on me. Wasn't right.
Got you. You know, we always got a start time, and I was just like, oh shit, it's time to go. It's go time. Hey,
That's
if
all right.
this
I was looking down, and then all of a sudden it was just like you started, and I was like, yep.
Jolt. If this is your first time listening to the podcast, thank you. I assume you found us because of the crappie spawn video over on YouTube, and you were like, whoa, this guy's got a podcast? I'm going to check that shit out. If you didn't know, this is a bi-weekly podcast. It comes out every other Monday. So hit the subscribe and all that other shit that people ask you to do. You know how it works by this point. If you're on podcasts,
you get it.
You get it. Oh, and in the off week, we have an off week by bi-weekly podcast every other Monday, right? In the off week, Wednesdays over on YouTube, you can find just the fishing topic, and Friday you can find our random take topic. Split it up in case you don't feel like listening to us talk for an extended period of time. But we hope we keep you entertained. Tim, fishing news. We always hit them with the fishing news in the beginning. Let's do it. There are native fish returning to China for the first time since the American Revolutionary War.
That's crazy.
What did China and Revolutionary War have to do with each other?
I don't know, dude.
That's my catchy headline. That's my spin on the headline. This comes from Outdoor News. You know how I do it. I like to put in that clickbait type headline in the podcast. But what it really is it's China, Maine. Dude, like Maine, the state, like United States of America, Maine.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. They have this China River, and they have these alewives. It's a kind of herring that...
Okay.
So their local channel, WMTW.
Yeah.
Man, you got to love that old call sign. This is WNTW TV.
Yeah. You always hit those fucking call letters.
We could bring back the Newsy Boys on this one.
Hey,
everybody, this is WMTV.
What is it, WNTV?
WMTW TV.
Well, we got the heron running in the whatever river.
You're on the
first on WNTV.
So obviously a local channel had reported, and Outdoor News picked it up, and it comes back to episode 34 that we've already done about dams, because, and that's why I ended up picking this topic or picking this news story out of the few that I was looking at. 6 dams were modified or removed between China Lake and the Kennebec River up there in Maine, and this herring is starting to return because of that. And I just thought, oh yeah, dude, this is great.
Yeah, dude, that's dope. That they're just it's weird that they didn't show up for a while. But that's oh no, smelt. I think smelt and herring are very similar. I don't know. They're very similar.
What you're trying to say is they're similar in the food chain. I think that's what we're like. It could be wrong. Correct us in the comments of like the YouTube video or something like that, or go over to RealAFTV/contact.
I think they're pretty. I think they're pretty similar fish. So I thought that they kind of acted the same.
Okay.
And I've heard that like the smelt don't run as much up. And I was just talking to. I think I said it on a different episode, but there was a guy I was talking to that does the whole smelt run up by Duluth, and he said that they don't run as much as they used to, which is weird. Like, I didn't know. I was just like, I just heard about this now, and now I already missed my shot because I didn't know about it, and it like stopped. But it's like,
sure,
if the herring is running up there, maybe it's the same thing with the smelt. I don't know, but that's cool to hear that things are getting back to normal. When you initially said China, I was just thinking to myself, just like, so a carp is like back in China or something.
Right. And everything we hear is they're just damming shit up all over the place. And here we are trying to make, because it says 6 dams were either removed or modified, and so we kind of talked about that in the dams episode, right, where you make
Yeah,
these
for
like
sure.
more fish friendly ones, and so I was
Yeah,
like, oh yeah,
and
dude,
how catfish are like moving up
right,
into the river because the dams aren't stopping them anymore and stuff. And yeah,
right,
dude,
yeah.
that's super cool.
Yeah, yeah. So it was super cool to hear. It's just like, oh, since like Revolutionary War times, this hasn't been seen in Maine. I was like, God damn, when did they start damming these rivers? Like, Jesus
Right.
Christ.
Yeah. And why did it take them this long to figure it out? Probably
Right.
because it's just like all they're just deciphering all this old timey English. Here sits a dam that stops the fish from flowing down the river. You're just like, what?
On this day in 1851, the dam stopped the fish. You're like, I
we
don't
forced
understand
the
that.
we forced the small ones down the river. It was the best thing we could think of. Everything worked out fine. They shall never return. You're just like, what does that mean? And then like somebody finally decodes it because nobody's cared. Just like, this is a really stupid sentence. What? Nobody cares about this at all. And then like one DNR person is just like, I'm pretty sure that's saying that like the dam stopped the herring from coming up here. And then they're just like, oh yeah, dude, get rid of that dam. What are we
Oh,
doing?
right. Those feeder fish, that'll bring more fish. That's
Eh,
probably a
Yeah.
good thing. Let's fix that. Let's modify that thing.
Yeah. Back when they had like just hunches and stupid reactions or whatever. The herring will stay away and that'll keep our kids from getting the rickets. You're just like, I don't think so, man. I don't think
I don't
that
think the rickets
I
come
don't think
from
they're correlated at all.
Yeah. So that was the fishing news, man. I'll have the link, of course, as I always do, put the link into the YouTube description. So, if you're interested in reading the whole thing. But I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. We summed it up right there. It's like I brought it into the podcast to just tie it into the like, it's really cool to see the way that conservation changes, over time. And this is like the literal long form of American history of conservation. Like it doesn't get
Right.
any longer in America and literally USA history than that. uh,
Oh, I just I just picture it now. It's just like because we're back in that old timey voice that it's just like a newspaper guy, and
yeah, yeah, the Newsy
it's like
Boys, right?
it's yeah the Newsy Boys, and it's like your like false what is it, the like headline, what did you call it, like the headline grabber,
Oh,
not
I call it like a clickbait head. Like
yeah,
I,
like
I
the
call it
clickbait
clickbait
headline.
head. Yep.
It's just like herring back in China, rickets not. And everybody's just
Big
like, what?
bold letters.
Yeah, I guess it's good that those Chinese people aren't getting the rickets, but what does this have to do with us? And then
They're
he
like,
he
no,
flipped it.
China's just like 10 miles upstream. And like, everyone's like, that's so far. There's no way I
Yeah,
can make it.
boom, gotcha. We spell ours with a Y.
No, everything I saw was spelt regular, but I think
Oh,
that,
okay.
but it's funny. It's a good joke. All right, man, let's get into it. This fishing topic is going to be choosing a lake because I've been thinking about that lately. I'm like, well, first of all, we live around a lot of water, so like, how do you pick? And that was the
Yeah,
thing that sparked me now being all hot. It's like, oh yeah, how do you pick? I just drive by, see that it has one of those walkout pier thingies. I'm
yeah,
like, all right, good, I can fish there.
right.
Somebody has designated this as a lake that has fish in it. I will throw
Yes.
something into it.
Yep. Yep.
That's my extent. And in the random take, we are going to talk about it's summertime, it's game time. I don't play a lot of video games in the summer, but god damn does the video game industry go hard in June. Tim, I want to
Yeah.
talk about that because, well, you'll see. That's the
All right.
cliffhanger. What a cliffhanger I have.
I'm ready.
Before we get into that,
I
let's
don't
do
know
the
what it is, but
housekeeping
I'm ready.
shit. We're brought to you by Monster Bass and patreon.com/realaftv, but we'll get into that later, of course. If you are a first-time listener, thank you. I'm so glad to have you here. We are
Yeah,
so glad to have you here. How the hell
definitely.
did you find us? Let us know in the comments of the YouTube video, because
Yeah.
if you're on Spotify and you're listening to this, just jump over there, because getting subscribers on that would be a huge, huge help to Real AF TV, because we are putting videos out more often, and the podcast is a video over there on YouTube also. So,
Yup.
what else, Tim? Oh yeah, don't forget. realaf.tv/contact is how you can give us direct feedback
Yeah.
on the podcast. We have been doing a little bit of a different format. If you're new to the podcast and you go back and listen to the back catalog, we go longer than expected, and we go shorter than expected at the beginning. Started as an hour-long podcast, turned into a 2-hour podcast, and now I'm trying to shorten up the random take a little bit, because we are a fishing podcast mainly, but we got to have that random take,
That's right.
because we don't just want to be them fishing guys. We want to be people you can relate to. Shit.
We're real people.
We're real people that like to talk about fishing, that like to talk about how in the hell to choose a lake.
Yes.
Tim, I already told you. I literally just will drive by a place, or I'll just go on a trip with you. Like, that's how I choose
Yeah.
a lake. I
Oh,
learned
there
a
you go.
lot, but
Yeah.
I want to hear from you first.
Yeah, dude. So a lot of times for me, when it comes based off of choosing a lake, it depends on what I'm like, what ways of fishing it do I have access to,
Mm.
and
It's so
who.
stupid for me to go like, yeah, but like, duh. But you're
Yeah.
totally hitting my like, you're hitting my like, of course, I didn't think of that.
Well, I mean, it just comes with experience, man. When you're trying to figure out something,
Sure,
like,
sure.
there's just things that you learn, and
Yeah.
sometimes you just wing it. There are those
Mhm,
times for
mhm,
sure.
mhm.
But just how can I fish this lake? How can I access this lake?
Mhm.
And when it really comes down to it, like, what kind of fish do I want to catch?
Yeah.
Am I going out for fun? Do I just want to land anything?
Just put
Is
something
it?
on a hook. Just
Yeah,
hook something, get it in.
yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just as much as what you said, where you just see a lake and you're like, I want to fish this,
Yeah.
and then you do research on that lake to try to figure it out, or
Yeah.
you say, I want to go catch eaters, I want to go catch bass,
Oh,
and then
right,
you got to
right.
find a lake that has those fish.
Right.
You know?
Yes. Yes, the species was one of the things that I definitely thought of when doing the research of it. I was like,
Yeah,
well, let me take a step back from how I actually have gone about this for a second. It's like, what would be the first thing that I would do? And that would be species.
yeah,
And I was like, oh, yeah. Can I look that up? I I only looked up 2 states, because I don't have 50 fucking hours to do research.
right.
But also, the part of the Real AFTV podcast is like, try to encourage you to go do this. Is like, hey, I'm going to speak from my experience, and then I hope that you can go do it. So I, of course, being from Minnesota, right? I looked up the DNR, and it was like, oh shit, DNR's got a lake finder. Just
Hell
straight up
yeah,
got a
that's
lake
one of the
finder.
best. Yep, that's one of the best resources out there.
No shit, for reals.
Yeah, yeah, dude.
Sick. Because I
Yeah,
just like, I just stumbled upon it, because often when I do topics like this, I just go to the DNR first, and I just start searching around, and I just like, oh
sure.
shit, kick
Yeah,
ass.
yeah, that lake finder is dope. It's not anything of the DNR's fault. The only thing that you need to know when you're looking on that is,
Mhm.
like, what county you're looking for,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
there are so many lakes in Minnesota that there are
Right,
like two or
right.
three of almost everything.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
For
So
reals.
you might be looking at the wrong one if you don't have the right county.
There's there's like 3 or 4 if you just put in like, Oh, I think someone called that Tiger Lake, and you put in Tiger Lake, and you find out there's fucking 15 Tiger Lakes
Yeah.
in Minnesota. You're like, oh
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah. Any of the like pretty generic ones, like you put in Big Lake, there's like
Sure.
40. It's just
Big
it's
Lake.
just like whoever decided to call it. They're just like or Round Lake.
Yeah, yep,
You
yep.
know, stuff
Sure,
like that where
sure.
they're just like the lake is round, we're gonna call it Round Lake, and then there's like 30 of them because there's just
Right.
super innovative people out there naming lakes.
Right, right, exactly.
It's like the
And
people that name the fruits. What what's that? It's orange. It's an orange.
it's an orange. Yeah, dude.
What
That's
is that?
actually
Is that
one of the
Dimitri Martin that has that joke?
Oh,
Where
yeah,
it's
I
just like,
think
what
it
is this? An
y
orange.
yes.
And then they
I was
hold up a
trying to
carrot.
figure it
What is
out.
this? Oh shit. Long pointies?
I think that is Dimitri Martin. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I saw his we got a comedy side tangent for a second because we
Yeah.
both have Paramount Plus now, and all the comedy
Yeah.
specials are on there, and I saw Dimitri on there when I looked up co and I was like, "Fucking A, man, dude, I should listen to his specials again." Like, he hasn't done anything in so long, but that's okay.
No,
I'll go
I
back
know.
and listen to that shit.
He's been good. Yeah, dude, I don't know if he's still out there doing it, but he was so good. And
He
then
was.
he did like that Woodstock movie, and
Yeah,
that
he
thing
tried to get into
tanked.
acting, and it just didn't work out for him.
It was a bad movie.
That's what I heard. I actually didn't watch it because of your review between us.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
not good. I don't even remember it. I just remember it not being good.
Right, right. Yep.
So, yeah, cuz he's so funny. You're expecting it to be funny,
Sure.
and it's not
Right,
at
because he has
all.
to be an actor and not reading his own shit, and
Right.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
when he's being a comedian, it's all his own shit, it's all his own ideas,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, and I think he actually produced that one.
That
Like
movie?
I think it was his own ideas. It
Oh,
was just
really?
like you're really good at like weird one-liners. Long form
Right.
is not your lane, dude.
You're just not for you, dude.
Yeah, maybe I wonder he might have a podcast out there. I never even looked. I bet
Fuck,
almost every comedian seems to have
almost
one.
every yeah, I know, I wonder what oh, man. Okay, we're gonna have to look up Dimitri Martin, but anyways, back to
We'll
fishing,
have to.
back to fishing, we gotta,
Yep.
okay.
Rabbit, reel it up.
Reel it up. Reel it back in, reel it back. That's what we're gonna start doing now on the podcast. Reel it in, reel it in. We'll just say that, and that'll be in, hey, hold on, we gotta bring it back.
Yeah, we gotta get that bait back in the bite zone, man. Get it back out there.
Yes. But I had county down because that's where we like I literally had that written down. It's like you probably want to know what county to fish in because that was almost like the key ingredient to this lake finder. And damn, if you're out there in like Maine, as we already kicked off, or you're down there in Texas, I really hope your wildlife conservation department has something like this. I looked up
Yeah.
Montana and I looked up Minnesota because those are two of my personal most interesting states
Okay.
to fish in. Obviously, Minnesota because I live here, and Montana because I've been out there several times. And that the mountains, the size of that state, it's fucking wild. So it's just very
Yeah.
intriguing state to me.
Sure.
So we'll get into that. And the name, you already pointed out the name is just like it kind of helps to pay out the name. But guess what, dude? I found a lake I didn't even fucking know existed in my hometown.
Really?
Yeah. I
That's
was like,
pretty dope.
what the fuck? This is
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. That's there's that I was just gonna say that reminds me of like uh just driving around with people and
Mhm.
finding small towns around your
Sure.
town, like
Sure.
where you never even knew that these towns existed,
And they're like 10
where you're just like, yeah,
minutes outside your spot.
the yeah. I remember one time we were trying to find like we were just driving around, not paying attention to anything, and we're like, we should probably try to figure out how to get back because I have
Mhm.
no idea where we are. We're just driving,
Mhm.
and we pulled up to a town called Fernando, and we were
What?
not far away from like where we grew up, and I'm just like, this does not help. And all they had in this town was like a church and another house. And you're like, how is there a full church here? There's one house. This is
This doesn't make any
insane.
sense.
No, it made no sense. The
Have you ever had success finding fishable bodies of water like that?
So there's been quite a few times where I'm driving and I see water and I'm just like,
Mhm.
"Oh, I need to fish this."
Uh-huh.
Like, it just looks like there should be, and I have tried to fish stuff before,
Okay.
and you get nothing, and you, like, look around and you're like, "There's
Uh-huh.
nobody else here." Like, you're always hoping for, like, that hidden gem,
Sure, sure, of course.
You're driving around, you see this little lake, and you're just like, "Oh, I gotta go try it," this
Y
pond.
yeah, yeah,
And
okay.
I always have this, like, mindset that there's a bass in there, Like, that
Okay.
somebody came and they put a fish in there, but you never know. Like, if it's super shallow,
Mhm.
then they get the winter freeze and those fish probably don't exist. There's
Okay.
stuff like that all over the place. So
Yeah.
without knowing the depth, it really
Mhm.
makes it hard sometimes. But
Yeah,
there's
for
like
sure.
my wife's aunt had a pond that was like made in their backyard
Mhm.
and nobody ever fished it. And I just one day fished it and I pulled out like a 3-pound bass. And the neighbor
What?
was like, "Let me get a picture of that. I got to send it to my brother. He was wondering if there was fish, and we never knew." And he's like, "We had no idea there was a bass like that in here." And I'm
No
just like,
shit, dude.
"Sometimes there are. You
That's
never know." Yeah.
crazy. That is so
Yeah.
crazy.
Yep. Yeah. And I think on an earlier podcast, I told the story of like uh, her uncle
Mhm.
caught like a legitimate goldfish, like a
Oh,
pound
yeah, yeah, yeah.
goldfish,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
just
yeah. Because
massive.
we did a whole
It
episode
was
on,
in
like,
that
goldfish and
Yeah, it was
koi's
in
and
that
shit like
same
that.
pond, like, some people just threw some fish back there, and they ended up surviving.
Right.
There just must be
Wow.
a food source, and they can go deep enough, uh, or, like, it
Mhm.
must stay a decent enough temperature where there's not the winter kill.
Right. That they can survive
So
the winter.
right, yeah,
Wow.
just
That kind of,
weird
like,
shit
blows
like
my
that, you
mind
never
about, like,
know.
how do you pick a how do you pick a body of water? It it makes me go, "Oh, just give it a shot. You see something, give it a
Yeah,
go."
sometimes give it a shot. Yeah, some like, that resource is awesome too. Like, if you're by a little lake
Mhm.
and you have if it's a super small pond, that's just
Mhm.
kinda like, shoot your shot, dude. Like, if you have stuff with you, you might as well give it a shot and see if there's something in there. Because if it doesn't even have a name, or if it does have a name and it's still small,
Mhm.
if you go to the DNR website, they didn't do any surveys on it, It's not gonna
Right.
have
Yep.
any information on there because the DNR website is basically all about surveys,
Right.
where it's telling you about, like, what's been stocked in there,
Yep.
or what they have netted in there, because 'cause they'll set up surveys, like, in the spring, and they'll do their, gill net thing just to catch fish and get a feel for, like, what they all got. Because
Like, what's
that's
in like, it's like a fish survey almost, right?
Yeah, yeah. Because the gill net, they'll literally just put a net down, and then they'll catch a bunch of fish.
Okay.
They'll pull it up, and they'll see all the fish, and then they'll
Mhm.
just record them all.
Sure, sure.
So it'll show, like, what
15
they got.
bluegill, 12
Exactly.
bass, like
Yep, and it'll give it in the ranges too. So you
What do you
got
mean
an
range?
idea. The size ranges. It'll
Oh,
be
no
like
kidding.
15 bluegill between 5 and 8 inches or whatever, and like 3 over 8 inches. Yeah.
Damn, dude, I did not dive that far into it.
Yeah,
Holy
it's
shit.
really cool. You can check it out. And it helps too where there's walleye, because sometimes you'll look, like, that's a perfect one where you're like, I want to go catch walleye.
Mhm.
Do they have walleye in this lake? And you see, like, oh yeah, there's a ton of walleye in this lake.
Yeah.
But it was like 2018 when they last did the survey, and all of them
Yeah.
are like in the 12-inch range. So you're like,
Right.
well, we can go catch them, but they're all going to be little. But if I
R
catch like 5 of them, you know,
Yeah,
five
like, if you
12
get
inches is still a meal. And I don't
right.
feel bad about it because they gill netted like, 60 of them. And that's just one net. Like, I'm sure there's plenty of them. And then you look at their like stocking numbers too, where you're like, okay,
Yeah. That
this is
was one of the
fine.
things I had down is, like, they just show their stocking numbers, and I was like, "Well, of course they do. Of course they show." Like, it was a
Yeah.
surprise to me to, like, find it for the first time, and then it's just like, "Well, no shit, they share that." Like, why
Yep.
wouldn't they? It's a public service. Like,
Yeah.
that I don't know what else to say. It's a public service. Of course they share that information. That's fucking
Yep.
kick ass.
Yep. Yep. And they'll tell you exactly what they do too, where they'll be like, it sounds crazy, but they'll say, we put 1,000,000 fry in, and then
Right.
it'll be like, 200 fingerlings, which fingerling is, and
About the
then
size of your finger.
and then there'll be like yearlings, which are year-old fish.
Yeah.
Those ones will be at, quite a bit lower number. And then
Sure.
like I think that's really as far as it goes for the most part. It's just like yearlings. I don't know
Sure.
if they
In
ever put
Minnesota, at
adults in.
least.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah. We
when
don't have
you
the
see
I
those
mean, could you
numbers,
imagine the room that it would take to stock all of that? The tanks?
oh
I
dude,
mean,
have you ever
God,
seen it? I think
10,000
we
lakes,
talked.
the land of 10,000 lakes, and you
Oh,
have
right.
all
Right.
these stocking initiatives. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, dude, I don't know where they keep all those, but they just have like tanker trucks. They come and just
That come
open
and
them
dump
up
them
like,
out.
yep,
Yeah, it's fucking cool.
it's nuts. Yeah, I've seen ones where they fucking drop them out of planes and shit.
Yeah.
I've seen
I've seen
videos.
that too.
Yeah, just flying over and
Fly them over and then just open up the belly of the plane.
yeah, here's fish. It's just so weird. Like, I guess, like, have you guys done studies on how this affects them? That I don't. You just want to be
You
like,
think
I
they got
don't.
to be getting knocked out or something.
Well, you're like,
Jesus.
you guys understand that fish don't know anything about gravity,
Right,
and now
because they
you're
live in
having them
water where
all, yeah,
literally gravity doesn't exist
and
except
now
for
you're all having them hit the
it's just
water at a high speed where that water is not the same as water
you,
because of that speed.
yeah,
Like,
you've talked
dude,
about letting fish go. Like you've already talked on the Real AFTV podcast about getting people to not just whip their fish. I mean, whatever, just kind of toss one off the side of the boat. But you've talked about how like
yeah,
it could disorient and mess
yeah,
up a
like,
fish. Like
yeah, like if you
you
do
don't
it
want that
wrong,
fish. You want it to live. You throw it all fucked up, slams the water wrong.
yeah,
Anyway, you should have just kept it.
right, and it's almost like they don't care if they're putting the fish in there, like if it's new fish. Like if they're like, if he's been living there for a while, be
Mhm.
careful. But
Sure.
he wasn't here before, so fucking drop him out of a plane.
Fuck it.
Like, oh, what? Okay,
Uh,
cool. Oh,
so I'll
whatever.
put links in the YouTube video, like of these things that I'm talking about, the DNR
Yeah,
lake find and the maps thing, which is what we're gonna get in. I want to get into now. I found the DNR maps, dude. They're kick ass. Like they have this maps thing, and it works
yeah,
good on mobile. Like I tried it on my phone, and it was fucking dope, dude. So you could, as long as there's good service, around the lake, or even on the highway on your way up north, do some research on the highway. Pull off at a rest stop, do some research because this
yeah.
thing is sick, dude. I couldn't believe how well it worked on my phone, first of all. But it shows like boat launches. Again, back to the access thing that you were talking about. Like it shows, it kind of gives that stuff. It shows uh state and national parks.
Okay.
And so we talked about that in the last episode, how if you're fishing inside a park, you don't need a license, all this sort of stuff. Like
Yeah,
there's a lot to it, I guess is what I'm saying is like
yeah,
you can get the information that you want if you have a specific way that you need to fish, right? Trying to be super
right.
budget, trying to hit the state parks and not have a license and all this stuff is like,
Yeah.
shit, dude,
So,
this thing will help you.
so for clarification, you're
Hmm.
talking about like, I guess I always go on there for information about the the lakes themselves. Like once I find a lake, I always go on there
Yeah.
for numbers and figuring out. But you're saying that
Yeah.
they're showing you maps of like where the public accesses are and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I've I don't know if I've ever really paid attention to that because I think I use other resources, so I don't know if I've ever tried to
Okay.
pull up
Sure.
a map on there.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude,
So what
I
do you
have
yeah, because that's exactly what I'm talking about is like the
yeah.
DNR has a map on their website that shows
Okay.
that stuff. So like what resources are you using to find when you're looking for a lake? Like what are the resources that you're using?
So the number one resource that I use, and I have No idea if this is legal.
Asterisk.
So I still think it is, just a heads up, because like you can go into Barnes and Noble, and you
Sure.
can look at a book and nobody says you can't do that.
Right.
So, but like what I'll do, because they also have information on it, and if I had the money, I would definitely buy all of these books. That being said, I don't always know where I'm going to be going, and it makes no sense for me to buy one of these books if it's not in my area. But they have fishing maps guidebook.
Okay.
Hold on a second. Sorry, I had like a pop-up window. It
Oh.
is made by Sportsman's Connection.
Oh.
And they have stuff. This one that I'm looking at currently says Minnesota's best lakes.
Okay.
And it just has all the different best lakes in there. But you can get these. It's like this one, I don't know where it all covers, but
Okay.
they have central northeast Wisconsin is another one that I'm seeing right now.
Oh wow.
And it'll literally break it down by like a chunk of counties.
Yeah,
And then it'll
like a
show you,
region of the state, like it sort of puts a region of the state cut off by county boundaries, basically.
yeah, exactly. Yep.
Sick, dude.
Yeah. And so there's certain ones that don't pertain to me, like it's the southwest corner of Minnesota. Like
Yeah,
I'm
and you're just
never
like, I'm
over
not really
there,
gonna go there. Yeah.
but I sometimes might be.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So if I know I'm in that area and I know I want to hit a lake up there, I'll look and try to find a lake
Yeah.
that fits everything that I'm looking for in a lake, or even not necessarily like what fits, but sometimes just where you're going to be. If you're just taking the opportunity to go fishing and you just
Mhm.
want to hit up a lake and
Oh,
you're going to be here,
right,
you're
right,
like,
right.
what lake is really close to where I'm going to be at?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then it just comes down to like, what's the best lake in the
for sure.
closest proximity to where I'm at? So
Yeah.
then I'll pull up these, and you can go to Fleet Farm, normally has a ton of these shields. Even Walmart has them too sometimes, but
Really?
theirs is normally not. Like Walmart is very specific to where you're at for the most part that I've seen.
Oh,
Like
I thought
they
you were gonna
have
say that about the other stores. So keep going,
no.
please. I'm just
I was
like,
going to say that
whoa, I didn't
Walmart
see that coming.
normally has it like for your area. It seems like
Yeah.
where the outdoors places
Okay.
know that if you're an outdoorsman, you are willing to travel to go to where you want to go. And
Gotcha,
they're
gotcha,
like, we
gotcha,
have
gotcha.
all the books. We have where you want to go.
Ah, okay. And you're saying that though, I think is what you're saying is the Walmarts tend to be more regional. The people who are just like, I'm here now. Oh, there's a Walmart. Let's go into Walmart. Let's do something outside. Okay, and so it keeps it very narrow because the people who are there just happen to probably just be there. You're right on. I'm with you on that one.
Okay.
Yeah, I follow
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Where the
So,
bigger, so like you go to Shields and you can get like the whole state, or
right. Yeah. Where they'll have every book for every region that they have.
okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So you can get, this cluster of counties or that cluster of counties where, it'll
Yeah,
be,
yeah,
like the St. Cloud area, or if
yep.
you go to the Walmart in like the cities, you have just the metro area,
Mm-hmm.
it's
Mm-hmm.
that kind of thing
Okay.
where they'll sell that book that just pertains to where you're at.
Yeah. But if you
And
go to your, like, if you live down in the cities, you go to your Shields, you're, and because you're getting ready to go up to the like Duluth to Harbors area of
right,
just that's the up north corner by Lake Superior if you're not from Minnesota.
right,
And
right, right.
and so if you're down south Minnesota, you go to Shields, you can get that up north book at that
Exactly.
Shields. Ah,
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So that's a big time resource because it'll do they have the same sort of information. I believe it's like straight from the DNR where they'll
Probably.
have
This
those
is
they'll
probably how the
have
DNR
those
gets some of their funding. They probably sell it to those publishers, I
I
hope.
bet. Yeah. So they'll have that same like they'll have the same numbers where they're stocked and stuff, but
Sure.
then they'll also have somebody, where these are talking about like legit lakes. So you're not
Mhm.
going to find little tiny ponds. Small lakes are still listed in here, but
Sure.
you're not going to find these little tiny ponds. But the small
Yep.
lakes
Yep.
that have, I I highly doubt there's any lakes in these books that don't have a public access,
Ah,
where
okay.
it
I
might not,
gotcha. I
yeah, where
gotcha.
it might not be that big, but it's definitely a lake you can fish and people do fish
Right.
and they
Right.
have
Okay.
stocked and stuff,
Okay. Yeah.
but when like, just for example, around here, when I sometimes I will pull up Google Maps and or like Google Earth and
Oh,
just
sure.
zoom out a little bit and
Yeah.
just look for the big blue dots in the area and then zoom in and be like, what's
Yeah, yeah,
that?
yeah. For
You
sure.
know?
For sure.
And then you find the lake and then you find the name and then you do a little bit of research. Like, is this one worth fishing? And then if I
Yeah.
see that it has some fish or like I see that the structure looks nice or that it
Mhm.
looks okay, then my next step is like finding one of these because these have the lake map of every single one that is on in these books.
Oh, yeah.
So
These by
they'll
these, you mean that book.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
you'll have the lake, like the topographical lake map. So
Mhm.
then you can see
Mhm.
if there's structure and stuff, and then there's always like a blurb. Like somebody went out and then they get to say this fish is good for this, it has these numbers, and if
Mm.
you
Mhm.
are here sometimes they'll have tips, like if you're trying to catch these fish, stay in this corner.
Oh,
Over here, crappie are best, in
damn.
winter in this area. So they're really uh very packed full of information books. Like
Yeah,
they
no
have,
shit.
yeah, so that's like
Do you know the name of those books? Like, or are they how do you identify them when you go and see them in a store? If you don't have a name, like, how would someone like
they
me notice it?
they just say uh mishing mishing. They
Mishing.
just say mishing flapper apps. I So this one says the Arrowhead region, which is like the point of Minnesota. I'm pulling it up right now.
Yeah, yep,
And
yeah, if you look it up,
so
it's the
it is,
northeast corner of, like,
yeah.
Minnesota, it is the arrowhead to us, yep.
Yep, yep. So it says fishing maps guidebook right on the front.
Oh,
And then in the top,
yep,
it'll show it's like a white and blue book. It has a blue bar on the bottom and a blue bar on the top. I did
yep.
that backwards. And in the middle
Your
is
hand
white.
gestures
And up in
for
the
the people
corner, it
listening.
shows the state of Minnesota and it will show in red the highlighted
Oh, I
counties.
yep, I know, I've seen these things in bait shops before now that you
Yeah.
say that, like, that totally
Yeah.
sticks out to me. There has to be, like, "Hey, you over there listening in Alabama, you have to have something like this, right? If you
I
do,
would
you should
assume.
share it. You should share it in the comments of the YouTube video. Just look us up, Real Life
Yeah.
TV, Real Like Fishing Reel," because this thing that you're talking about right now, Tim, is I started this off saying, like, I don't know if one of those fishing piers is sticking out into the lake, something's got to be there. That's
Yep.
kind of the only fishing that I've ever really done of sans your advice, of course. Uh there is obviously a huge market for those books. There has
For
to be
sure.
because it's seared into my brain, and this is somebody who visits a bait shop once or twice a year.
Yeah, dude.
Like
Yeah.
I knew exactly what you were talking about as soon as you just described that cover. And based on what we were talking about with the DNR Lake Finder, like know your county, right? That's super helpful.
Yep.
That's literally what this is doing is like using county
Exactly.
borders and yeah, dude. That's great.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah. And like again, that's why I was like, I don't know if this is legal because they're not like sealed shut books where you can't use them. Like I'll go there and I'll
Sure.
open it up just to
Yep.
be like, where can I go? And then, I have a depth finder with a GPS unit on it. So
Sure.
I have lake maps on there. So I
Sure.
just like to go and see these books.
Yep.
And I have books for my area, But there are a lot of
Right.
times where, like this winter I'm going to this cabin and I've
Right.
never been over here, where
Mhm.
so it's like I'm gonna go hit up this or
Mhm.
which it just makes sense to know where you're going. So
Sure.
you
Of
got the
course.
DNR website that'll give you a bunch of information and get you kind of like in the right path. That's probably a best place to start is to be
Sure.
like this, like put in the name, see what it looks like. If
Yeah.
it says that they got some fish and stuff, then maybe go from there. Be like, what do they got for structure?
Right.
Um, like you said, is there a fishing pier? Like, if you're fishing from shore,
Yeah.
is there a fishing pier? Is there, like a a public access that looks like there's some land or like some space where I can get to the water, without having to go through people's yards and stuff? Because that's not going to go well.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's actually a really good point. Like I went through a little spell of um hanging out with some hunters, and that was one of the bigger things. Which also, by the way, you can find that on the lake map too. Like you can find hunting ground too on this DNR map. It
Oh,
had a lot of
nice.
hunting stuff on it too. So that was really cool. Just a side note for the people who are listening that hunt too. Um, the map will help you with that. At least the Minnesota version, you know.
Yeah, that's
Uh
something that like made my ears perk up. I'm like, all right, I need to check
yeah,
that out. Yeah, because I
right?
need to know where to go. I live in the metro area and
Right.
I cannot hunt where I live. I need to find some space
Right.
that I can go.
There are definitely people way too close. I can't shoot that. But
Right.
yeah, that's actually one of the things that I learned. It was a lot of waterfowl hunting, and
Okay.
you learn about, well, and then you get your gun safety training and all that shit too, and they teach you a lot about the trespassing and like how it's marked and all this other stuff, because there are private lands that attach to water. I mean, that's just the simplest way to put it, right? There's private land that's attached
Yep.
to a lake.
Yep.
If you can get to the lake, you can fish anywhere on the lake. They don't just,
Yeah.
because their land's attached to the lake doesn't mean that they
Right.
own that section of the lake. You can go fish under their dock, just don't be a dick about it. But
Exactly.
like
Yep.
there's sometimes private land that sort of blocks your access because you're driving by. You can't just go walk through somebody's private land and go like, I'm gonna go fish that dock. It's like, nope, they own the land
Right.
in front of that dock. They own that dock. Like that's their stuff. You can't just
Right.
go there. And with with waterfowl, there's private land that you can like dock up against, right? Like there's reeds on this person's private land, but on the other side of the lake, there's a public access. Well, you can go sit in those reeds and shoot.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Right.
Like
Yep. Yeah.
obviously
Because
you're shooting at 6 in the morning and they have a fucking house up on the hill. Don't be a fucking asshole, but
right. Yeah. Because water is not private property.
right,
Nobody owns that.
right, right.
There are like private kind of
Ah,
like private lakes where like the
sure.
property all the way around it is owned and there's no public access.
Right. Yes,
So
and that's
those
what,
are
yeah.
almost like nobody owns that water, but definitely however you got onto it was not legal unless that person gave you the okay.
Unless you had, yeah, one of the
Yeah.
property owners. Right, right. And that's, yeah, you make it the point more succinct than I was for sure. It's like definitely make sure to find that public access, because I've
Yep.
seen videos even of people, and this is, part of the maps, looking at the maps and stuff like this is going to help you finding a lake.
Yeah.
Um I've seen people who are fishing what appears to be public property,
Yeah.
but just because you got there from the bridge and then you walked down off the side of the bridge
Oh,
doesn't
yeah.
doesn't mean that because you can't fish from the bridge, right? It's like there's laws
Sure.
against that around here for the most part. You can't fish off the bridge. And then as soon as you walk off the side, just because the nearest house isn't that close doesn't mean you're not on like an association's property. Like
Right. Yep.
that whole association owns that like cul-de-sac of a lake.
Yes.
And that nearest house doesn't own that, but that nearest house is on an associated land. Like, it's a private
Yeah.
property, technically speaking.
There are some moments too where like there's a dock that seems like it's just kind of there, and unless it's like stated that it's like a fishing pier, like a
Mhm.
lot of times
Right.
there's it wasn't, for whatever reason, there wasn't any possibility of building right next to the lake.
Oh,
So
sure.
somebody
Sure.
owns that piece of land and the dock that goes out there, and their house is like on the other side of the road, just back
Right.
there. Like
Right.
they can see you walking onto their dock, and they're
Right.
like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" You know?
Who's this motherfucker walking on my shit? Right, right. Which is a really good point of like choosing a lake isn't as it's not always as easy as you might hope, which is why I wanted to do this topic. Is
Yeah, yeah.
sometimes you just want to like walk out and cast.
Yeah,
That's not always easy to do.
right. And also, like, if you're trying to be productive, if
Mhm.
you have fishing gear with you and you're by a pond and you're just like, I just want to take a couple casts and see, and you're
Mhm.
like right next to a road and you know that nobody owns where you're at, you're like, this is definitely like owned by the county. Like, I'm too close
Yeah.
to a road. There's
Right.
nobody, just take
Yeah.
a couple casts. Or even if somebody does own it,
Mhm.
sometimes where it's like not obvious like that, whatever, take some casts. And if somebody comes over and be like, I owe this, just be like, oh, my bad. You don't have any
Right.
fish in your shitty lake anyways. But it's not always that big of a deal. Most people aren't gonna like spaz
Right.
out at you if you're fishing a lake. They're not gonna be like,
Right.
there are people like that. There are weird people that just
Sure. Yep.
are, there's dicks in every facet of life.
Right.
And there's the ones that'll get mad at you even if you're fishing by a dock. They're just like, do you have to get so close to my dock? I don't have to, but there's no rule that says I can't, and I think there's a fish underneath your dock. I didn't
Yep.
cast my lure onto your dock, casting it by your dock. And they'll be like, go kid, swim here. Well, my lure's not just gonna fall off. It's fine,
Right. I know how to tie a knot,
Yeah,
so
I've
I'm
seen
just
some
letting you know.
videos before with, you know, some people like spazzing out, like, you're awfully close to my dock. Like, yeah, yeah, I am. Like, end of discussion.
I'm on the water.
Yeah,
I don't know what you want me to
yes,
say,
I
but
am. You're
yep.
not like sitting on a bench at the end of your dock. There was nobody around. I'm fishing, and then you came out.
And then you came out here. Yeah, you're disturbing me at this point.
Right. Yeah. This is absolutely pointless.
Yeah.
It's,
This is a weird discussion we're having. Just keep casting. But they also it's like don't be a dick, do your research and you're fine, right? Like
right.
that's what it comes down to is like if you're trying to find a lake, know your method. And I'm not trying to sum us up by any means because I want
Yeah.
to talk about Montana. But like know your method, know what you want to catch. And by method I mean how did you put it? You put it a better way like if you're going to fish by boat, by shore, right?
Oh,
Like
right. Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah.
that definitely makes a difference. And even not even just by boat, like what kind of boat? Like I find that now with my little boat. I find that
Oh,
now where I'm like purposely
right.
trying to find uh smaller lakes that I
Yeah.
know are like sheltered by wind, because that helps me out a lot to know that
Right.
I can, like, even if the day's windy,
Mhm.
that I
Mhm.
can, navigate the lake pretty well.
Right.
So, knowing where you're going to go,
Mhm.
and knowing too that if one thing doesn't work out, that I don't have, say that it's a smaller lake and there's like,
Okay.
you see that there's like a sunken hump underneath
Yep.
the water at one point, and there's a
Okay.
couple of points, and you know that like if the wind's blowing this way, I think that point will be productive. If
Yeah.
it's not, I think over here will be productive.
Mhm.
And knowing that with my little trolling motor setup, that's going to be like a 10-minute drive instead of like I have no chance at making it to that spot if this spot doesn't work out
Yeah.
is definitely helpful. So just
Sure, sure.
knowing what your capabilities are before you go out there too, cuz some lakes
Yeah.
look awesome, and if the conditions aren't exactly right, you are shit out of luck. Like, damn it, the wind is not blowing the right way.
Sure.
My whole
That's a
plan was
good
to
point.
fish this lake, and now I'm stuck. Now I got to find another one in a pinch.
Right.
And,
Right.
so
And you
that
kinda have to
definitely
go
helps.
through depending on how much time and effort that you put into it, you would have to go through all those steps again rapidly almost,
Right.
right?
Yeah, or just hope for the best. Yeah, you just be like, "Oh, there's another lake that looks close."
Yeah.
And then you don't even like look into, your cell service doesn't work, but you're like, "Oh, the lake map chip actually has, contour lines and stuff." And then you're fishing,
Yeah.
and then it turns out, when you go and like look at the sportsman's, lake map books, that there's just like a pretty low number of bass here, and you're like, damn
Right.
it, that's
And
all
then
I
you're
was
like, "Shit,
trying for.
that's what I
Shit.
was fishing for."
I could have had a successful day if I would have tried for the fish it had.
Right.
Instead, I'm out there fishing for the fish that the lake is like, if you're going for this fish, maybe not go at this lake or whatever. And you're like, damn it.
Y That you make a really good point there, though, about picking a lake, and that is either like picking a species ahead of time or picking a lake based on location and a little bit of research and like your ability to access it and then finding out what species are on it is
Right.
another like
Yep.
that's two different ways to kind of pick a lake is either go
Yeah.
fishing for what's in the lake or try to find a lake in your area
Right.
based on the species.
Yep. Or, I mean, it doesn't happen a lot because everybody likes to keep everything under wraps and stuff. But if you see on social
Yeah.
media, or if you talk to somebody that's telling you like there's a hot bite on this or whatever, or if I look in that book and it says, like this lake is known for this,
Mhm.
I might not have any plans on going for whatever fish it is until I hear that that fish is good for fishing that species.
That lake is good for fishing that species.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, that lake is good for
I
fishing
got
that
you.
species. And then I'll be
Yeah.
like, all right, that's what I'm doing then. I'm
Nice.
totally
Yeah, yeah,
gearing
yeah.
up and like
Mhm.
going for what this lake is known for because that's what I have the best shot at.
Right.
So sometimes I'll try to find a lake based on the species I want to catch, or sometimes I'll just stumble across this lake, looking for other stuff,
Yeah.
and then I just end up shifting gears because I'm like, oh, this sounds like this lake is good for this.
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Right on.
Yeah,
Yeah, dude. That's tight. I I wanna talk about Montana a little bit because what happened with me with
yeah,
doing the research on Montana is I got the same thing, like, the FWP, that's their DNR out there, had it it had similar things. It had stock records and stuff like that. These like the DNRs, right? We'll call them the DNRs, the wildlife conservation departments. They only have so much money. We've talked about that multiple times. Go buy a fishing license,
yeah,
whether you're
right,
gonna fish or not. If you think you're gonna fish, who cares? Just go buy one. Um,
right,
but like, there's a ton of really good data on there because these guys are going out into the field and they're recording all of this data. But sometimes the website doesn't necessarily give you the best way of sorting through it.
okay,
And that's sort of what I found with Montana. It's like Minnesota seemed to be one of the more or seemed to be more well funded, but like, dude,
sure,
you could go on to a Montana site or you could go onto the mt.gov and you could find like this is what was stocked for the brown trout in this area, right? You could find it.
okay,
It
yep,
was good. It was decent. It just
sure,
it was a little bit older school, a little bit clunkier. It was just a little bit harder to navigate. The only reason why I bring that up is because uh, I think those are great resources, but a lot of what happened with Montana was like blog sites. almost like travel, not travel logs, but like travel documentation to try to get you to come to Montana.
Sure.
You know, like blogs that were like, "This lake's great. Come fish in Montana."
Oh, right.
It felt a little bit markety, and so I had to scroll down and
Okay.
go, like, to the second page of Google to really get some, and I found a good one, like, I thought that bigskyfishing.com, and I'll shout 'em out here, was
Yeah.
good, but it wasn't, it wasn't DNR data, it wasn't data, it was
Sure.
bloggy kind
Yeah.
of style. Have you ever interacted with that when looking for a lake, in your time?
N- Not so much.
Yeah,
No, I don't think because I haven't really like looked at anything besides Minnesota, and
sure.
I don't think we need to advertise like that. You know, like
Yeah. The
Montana
land
is
of
a little
10,000 lakes tagline kind of sells itself in a way.
yeah.
Sure.
Like I think there's so many people fishing already
Sure.
that there's no need to be like, hey, this fishing lake is really good
Try
because
to draw people in from outside.
right,
Right.
and I think the numbers are so much so that there's already so many anglers on all these
Yeah.
that if you put that out, there would be so much hate
Oh,
that you
like
don't.
the established fishing community inside the state of
Yeah,
Minnesota would kind of
yeah,
be would be like, "Why stop fucking doing that. You're fucking
yeah.
up our
Take
shit."
that down. It's a good. Yeah, the people who know. Don't tell everybody it's a good lake. Get out of
You don't
here.
need to be drawing in everyone from around the fucking country. It's
They can
fine.
find their own lake. Like probably the only people that would want to do anything like that is like the bait shop. That's just like
Right.
our numbers could be better if we had more
Or
people. They're
more
just
likely the resorts that are
right.
posting up on the lakes, right?
Yep. Which are almost like one and the same. Seems like a lot
Lately,
of
yeah,
resorts
yeah,
with
like, there's no
access and
independent
there's
bait
bait
shop
shop.
yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm,
there are some, but it depends on like those. A lot of times are in the bigger lakes, the more well known stuff. You can
mhm,
get bait at most gas stations and stuff. But when it
mhm,
comes to like a
right,
mom and pop bait shop, those
yep,
are like in an area where there's like a chain of lakes, where it's a well
yeah,
known that there's like 5 or 6 good lakes here.
right, yeah, yeah, which is the exact kind of place where you wanna go in
Yeah.
and look at one of those books and figure out where to go because you
Yep.
have 5 choices in that immediate area sort of situation, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, like that's a good kind of one that we just randomly brought up is like the chain of lakes here. Uh that's just down the road from where I live
mhm,
has like 6 or 7 lakes and they're all
mm,
attached to each other. Like you can
mhm,
access all of them from where you're at.
mhm.
So knowing where you want to start is a big part because you could be driving around on that thing for a while if you don't know what you're doing.
Just looking at water, basically?
Yeah, just drive. I remember going out on one like with Sam and we're
Mhm.
just like driving and he's just taking turns and stuff and I'm like I know like looking at spots like this is where we're fishing, right? And then we like bypass that and take another turn down the like little narrow area.
Uh-huh,
We
uh-huh.
get to another opening and I'm like, okay, here we are. Then we go past that. And I'm just like, damn, dude, like I don't know where like I just take his word for it that he's done his research. He knows where he wants to fish and stuff,
Sure, sure.
So it's stuff like that where if you're not ready, like you're gonna be completely lost. If you don't have your
Sure, sure.
electronics or a map or at least an idea of where you're gonna go, especially if the water
Right.
clarity is not very good,
Oh, yeah, of
good
course.
luck. Good luck. So yeah, definitely, you know, not just winging it can be very beneficial for you. Not
Right.
saying that you can't.
Yeah,
It's just
no,
that being productive, knowing what you want to do and where you're going is a
right.
huge part of it.
Yeah, 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 for sure. It's like, don't what I'm learning here from the whole thing, and to bring it back to the Montana, like, blog things is, I learned there that, like, they can if you read it and you don't read into the marketing and all the stuff of like, oh, we caught a fucking 24-inch rainbow trout on this. This is the best productive river of all time. You're like, yeah, whatever. You're full of shit. You caught one.
Right.
Who cares? Luck of the
Yeah.
draw. You can pick apart the gems, or you can pick apart what they're saying, or in your case, you can, in like what you're saying is like you can go to an area that seems like it could be productive and bypass it and go to an area that is productive because you've sat and you've done your research on it. Like
Right.
that's kind of what I'm hearing
Yeah.
from your side.
That's well worded. Yeah. Yeah, like that. For sure. Like if you do your research
Ahead of
going
time.
past,
Don't just drive by it and look at an area that appears productive, right?
right.
Yeah.
But again, you can if you want to, you know?
Yeah, of course. Sure.
It's like do what you want to do, but if what you want to do is have a very productive day, then prep work is huge.
Right. But if you just want to sit on a bank,
But
cast a
yeah,
bobber, and drink some beer,
yeah.
fucking sweet. Just
Or
drive somewhere and find out that it's not private land. Throw a line in.
right, yeah. Or if you just see a body of water and you're like, I want to see what's in there, because I am that same way too.
Sure.
I do a lot of prep work and stuff, but
Three
like if
pound
I have a
bass.
rod and a reel and I see a spot that looks like it could hold a fish,
Yeah.
for sure, I don't need to know anything about it.
Yeah.
You know, there's just like a pond and it has like a log laying down in it, and I'm just
Mm-hmm.
like, there's a fish here. He's probably underneath that log, and I'd really like to see. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
don't need
yeah.
to know anything else about it because, and that is, you know, for bass fishing for the most part. Like that's the
Sure.
bass fisherman in most people. It's like,
Yep.
and even if you have like a bobber, I highly doubt you're just driving around with live bait in you on a whim. Not in you, with you. That's
Right.
came out weird. Oh, I already know you have worms
Got
in
left
your
some
butt.
bait. Yeah,
But
hold on. I just gotta
if
poop it out.
yeah, always got a couple in there, bro. Uh,
Gross.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Always prepared. Always come prepared.
Yeah, you can't get these. And that's the secret. That's the secret to my success. You can't get these tapeworms at any bait shop, but I got them.
That's so disgusting. So, Tim, I think that kind of sums it up. But I want to say one thing to you as before we wrap up the fishing topic is I was looking at these blogs with Montana, right? And I was kind of
Hmm.
reading around, and I picked this one specific apart from the Big Sky website, and it basically was just like our central lakes are, not as attractive to our tourists, but they tend to produce a lot of, and I was like, say what again? And I read it over. Dude, Montana's fucking huge. Has a lot of water. A
Yeah,
lot of their bodies of water fish like ours. Walleyes, bass, things like that, like panfish.
yeah,
Like Montana, you look up Montana fishing. This is what I was talking about. Like you got to sort through all the marketing material, dude. Fly fishing, fly, 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 because of all the
right,
rivers
right.
coming out of the mountains.
Yep,
Yeah, they have lakes, and like, dude, apparently they kind of fish like ours. Like that would
dude.
be so sick to go to Montana and fish it
Yeah,
like Minnesota.
yeah, dude, for sure.
And we would need all of this. Like it would be applying all of this, finding a lake knowledge
Right.
to go and do that because
Yeah,
it's not going to get fed to you based on the internet, based on what I'm seeing from the internet. You're going to get fed how to fly fish. You're going to get fed on where to go fly
yeah,
fish, right? Like that is what they want to draw you in with. So if we were to go do this in Montana and be like, "Oh, we're going to fish Montana like Minnesota."
right.
It it's going to take this. It's going to take this, open a book,
Yeah, dude.
get on the maps, like, dude, it'd be sick.
I now I want to. We should.
I know. That's
We
exactly why I
definitely,
wanted to close on this note, because I was like, oh,
yeah.
fuck, dude.
We definitely need to try to figure out how to make this happen. Because yeah, I do. I never even thought about their lakes, because
Me
that's all
neither.
you ever hear.
Uh-huh.
Because it's so picturesque too. You know,
Oh, yeah.
like it's always like a fly fisherman standing in a stream with like mountains in the background, and like I don't. That seems amazing too.
Oh,
Where
of course. Like, the
going
experience
there,
of
like
that,
I would
beautiful.
definitely want to
Awesome.
do that because it's so much different than what we do.
Right.
But at the same time, those mountains are pretty big. Bet you can see them from the lake.
I bet you can see him from the lake.
Bet we could get a pretty good view from the lake.
Right,
You
right. I
know,
bet you
just
there's
saying.
still some pretty good views out there on
Right.
the
Yeah.
completely encircled lake.
Yeah. But some of the wildlife when you're river fishing too, because you get stuff that's coming to the river, you know, because you're like
Sure,
in the
sure.
forest or you're
Mhm.
just off the beaten path and you
Sure.
have these wildlife and stuff. I just saw a clip where a guy was fly fishing with
Mhm.
two moose like standing in the river like right
Oh,
next to him.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
That must have
And
been
the
gnarly.
yeah, and the big male starts bellowing or whatever you call it
Oh,
when
doing
it's
a call?
yeah, so he's doing that
No
like high
kidding.
pitch ass squeal where he's sitting there and
Uh-huh.
the guy's just like, dude, I think I would have been shitting my pants at that point
Me
because I
too.
don't know enough about him. I would have just
I
been like,
don't
is this
either.
like a rattlesnake? Are you like yelling at me because he's about to charge? Dude, I'm
Right,
dead if
right,
he
right,
comes
right.
at me.
Is that
I
his
can't
sign
run
of,
in
like,
these
"I'm getting
waders.
fucked up right now"? I can't run in these waders. They might as well be high heels. I can't fucking run in these things.
Yeah, getting mauled by a moose is bad news, but if he like pins me down in the water, I am dead. The waders are gonna fill up. I can't get up. Like,
We have an extra 100 pounds of fucking water in here. There's no way I can get up.
this is bad news all around. I am dead. I didn't, you know, you don't bring a sidearm. I'm not out here hunting, trying to
Right.
fish. I don't have nothing for protection. Even if I got one, it's somewhere in these waders.
I'm lost in these fucking waders. Shit.
Waders would be the death of me, man. I should have fished the Minnesota style lakes.
But
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, man, for real. It's like they were just like, "Oh, we got." It was so cool to read that they they have walleyes, and like, it's so dumb having been there multiple times in my life. I see the streams and everything like that. You just, as someone who loves the mountains, goes to the mountains, sees the streams, I zone in on that because a lake is normal to me. So it
Right.
doesn't even really catch my eye. I guarantee I've seen really good lakes driving through Montana.
Oh, for sure. Yep.
I just don't think it's sunk in though. Just
Yeah.
because, again, a lake is normal to someone from Minnesota. So yeah, that's that. I just wanted to end
Yeah.
on that note of like, find a lake. How about find a lake in the middle of fucking Montana, huh?
Yeah, dude. Now we got to set out and try to find a lake and everything.
In everything?
Like
Like
in
in
every
every
state
state?
and stuff where like
Oh, oh.
you're just not. I've had those moments too where
Yeah, yeah.
you're driving by and it just feels weird because you're
Okay.
just not in the right setting. You're like, I don't know. I don't know if that's a lake you would fish. And then you're
Yeah.
like, probably. Why would it not be? I'm here
Mhm.
spouting off talking about how I drive by a random pond and I think there'd be a fish. And I drive by a full size lake and I think I don't know if it would have any fish. It probably has fish.
Right, right, right. But those are the things that go through your head if you haven't done the research. So I get it, man. I get it.
Very true. Yeah, where that's always in my mindset where like if I have a moment and I have stuff with me,
Mhm.
I'll take a
Mhm.
cast at it. But if I'm not
Sure.
prepared and I'm trying to like spend the whole day out there, I don't think ever I would just be like I'm going to this lake with no research.
Right,
I
right.
just
Yeah.
like I do my best if that's what happened, you know, if
Mhm.
somebody because I've had that happen before where somebody else comes and picks me up and says we're going to this lake and they don't know what they're doing. You're just like, what?
Mhm.
Okay, I do my best. So, you know, like look at the map when we get there and
Yeah.
just be like, let's say let's start over here.
And then you're the guide at that point. Like then, so
Yeah.
you're like doing on the fly research.
Yeah, when you're going in blind, you're just like, this spot looks good on the map, not really knowing anything. I'd say let's try here.
Right.
But yeah, dude, for sure. Now I gotta. Oh, I'm
Yeah,
like
I
running
think we're
through
gonna
my
have to
head.
have. I know.
I'm
I can tell
thinking.
I'm in your head. Like
I'm
we
thinking
got to go and
about.
try to figure this out. This
I'm just
Montana
thinking
thing.
about like a North Dakota lake that I saw that we drove by one time.
Oh yeah.
Or maybe it was a South Dakota lake. I can't
Okay.
really remember off the top of my head, but it had like rocks and stuff in it.
Okay. Yeah.
The way the rocks were poking out,
Mm-hmm.
it looked like the small lakes between, like, if you're not from around here, you don't know, but Josh, you'll know, like
Mm-hmm.
between Hutch and
Mm-hmm.
Bisky, there's like
Mm-hmm.
those small ponds that
Mm-hmm.
don't hold anything
Yeah.
from what I know about them,
Right.
and there's just rocks, and
Yeah.
it's like a man-made kind of, doesn't
Yeah.
hold
Almost like a
anything.
rock
I
quarry
have
sort
like
of dug hole.
I have like
Yeah.
this hardwired in of like, that's what that big lake looked like. So immediately I'm like, bro, it doesn't have any fish
Oh.
in it. Looks like this other lake. And I never even
Right.
thought about
Yeah.
it till now, where I'm just like, for sure it has fish. That's a real lake, I bet.
It's a real lake, probably.
It just looks like something that I know not to have fish. I can't just go based off of what I've seen and think that it doesn't.
Right.
And it like
Right.
opened my
For
mind when
sure.
you're just like, the Montana lake is just like our lake. And you're like, why wouldn't it be? What the hell? Why didn't I think of
Right.
this before?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. All right. I could tell I'm totally in your head. We have to have this Montana Lake conversation again, either on the pod or off the pod or something like that. But now we are going
Yeah.
to kick into video games because Tim.
Turtle power.
It is video game season. We got to go into the random
Yeah.
take and talk about how summer video game season has begun. It used to be called E3. E3's fucking dead or gone. I don't know what's happening with E3, but we're going to talk
Okay.
about it so that way we can just reset and come back to this whole Montana lake thingy and just like rethinking discovering lakes on a different time. So hang in there with us for part 2 where we're just going to talk about summertime game time. For now, hit the break.
Yo.
Hey, guess what, guys and gals and everybody out there on the internet? We have a way you can help the podcast and get some cool stuff in the mail. If you go to realaf.tv/monsterbass, that's realaf.tv/monsterbass. Remember, real like fish and real. realaf.tv/monsterbass. You will get sent over to the Monster Bass website where they will then know the Real AF TV podcast sent you, and that is a way to help out the Real AF TV podcast. Now, you might be asking yourself, what is Monster Bass? Well, that's where I kick it over to Tim to explain.
And I pop it off with some questions for you. Are you sick of getting just bills in the mail? Do you want something way cooler? Do you know somebody that doesn't really know what they're doing yet, but they want to? Yeah, when it comes to fishing, they're just in general. Do you have a friend that's an idiot? But do you know somebody that wants to start fishing, like somebody younger or somebody that's just starting into, more outdoor stuff, because it seems to be a big trend with everything after COVID and stuff? These Monster Bass boxes are delicious.
That's a good way to put it, dude. Hell yeah.
If you're looking to get some good baits at great prices and just to have the nice surprise, it's like Christmas or your birthday every month. It's awesome. Monster Bass is the way to go. You get these baits coming to you. You get to open it up. They got the terminal tackle with the soft plastics. If they're sending you soft plastics, they got the hard baits. They got all legit good baits that work. And it's just fun to go out there and get this stuff. I can't wait for my Monster Bass boxes to come in the mail every time. And like I said, if you got somebody who's just starting that doesn't really know a lot about the baits and stuff, why not let Monster Bass hook them up with stuff that you know is going to work? Don't have your weird aunt that knows nothing about fishing just go pick out stuff in the aisles because of the colors.
Right. Go to realaf.tv/monsterbass to get you over to the Monster Bass website, and those people over at Monster Bass are going to hook you up with some shit that's actually going to work. Patreon.com/realaftv. Remember, real like fish and reel. We have a Patreon site, and it can be found by going to realaf.tv/Patreon, or just going to realaf.tv and finding the Patreon link. It is right there on the front page. And why, you might be asking, would we be asking you to go to Patreon? And that is a simple answer, I think, from mine and Tim's perspective, is we are trying to build something around fishing. We're trying to build like a community, an entertainment outlet based on fishing. And we're hoping that you will join us by going to patreon.com/realaftv. Remember, real like fishing real.
That's right.
And Tim, if we're to explain Patreon to somebody, what would you say? Like, it's a not a membership. We had this discussion.
We're not drug dealers. We're fundraisers.
That's right. And you can help us raise some funds on Patreon, and that is a way to directly support the Real AF TV podcast. But don't forget, we have videos, and we are already shooting videos, and we're making videos. We got plans for more videos. You can see them over on YouTube by looking up Real AF TV, Real Like Fishing Reel, and find the crappie fishing video that we just released at the beginning of June. And you can find all of the video podcasts and the backlog that is that, and you can hear about what we're trying to build here with Real AF TV. And a direct way to support the podcast is through Patreon. Tim, if someone goes over to Patreon, they can give us $50 for 1 month and then drop down to $1 the next month if they feel like. And if they subscribe, or if they choose to join Patreon, the Real AF TV Patreon, at $50 a month, they get a custom lure. Isn't that true?
That is definitely true. If you are on Patreon and you, what do they call it? Is it pledge? I've never thought about this before. If you pledge $50?
I know, and we haven't. For them, it's just giving money to a channel. We haven't figured out. Is it a pledge? Is it a join? Is it subscribe?
That is true. I just learned this. Sorry to put this on our thing. I just learned this from the Johnny Depp case. Pledge for sure is not the same as donating. I should not say pledge. But if you are willing to go in at that $50 range, for sure you are getting a custom handmade bait by us. It's gonna be dope, I promise. And it would be so much appreciated. And like Josh said, you can go back to that dollar tier. You can stop going with anything at all
altogether.
It's
just
100%
subscribe to the YouTube channel and join. But this is another
100% up to you.
Yeah, this is just us saying, hey, there's an extra step to the Real AF TV podcast if you want to take it, and it can be found at realaf.tv right there on the homepage. That'll shoot you over to, you can find the link to the Patreon page, shoot you over, give $1.
Exactly. Yep.
We appreciate it.
If you're doing well, you know, you bought a scratch off and things went well, and you're just like, I would like to share the wealth.
Yeah.
And you want to toss us $1? Much appreciated. If you don't, thanks for listening anyways.
That's right. And the podcast will continue to be free. The videos are going to continue to be free. RealAF.tv, Real Like Fishing Reel, is where you can find all that stuff. But if you want to help us out, make this thing bigger, stronger, better. What's that Kanye song?
I know exactly what you're talking about. I can't.
But you can't recall it right now. So that was a great, great improv moment we just had here to wrap up. Patreon.com/RealAFTV. We would appreciate you just even taking a look at this point. And if you got $1, give us $1. Otherwise, you know how to support us. Otherwise, we appreciate you.
Here we go.
Jeez, dude. You're gonna have a rough voice after that shot. And welcome back to the Real AF TV podcast, the show about fishing random takes from the land 10,000 lakes. If you're just joining us on Friday for the random take, then you know that you just clicked on something about video games. You don't know that we just talked about fishing on the other side. So if you're into that, make sure to check it out on YouTube. Or go over to Spotify. Shit, we're on Spotify too. You just catch the whole podcast as one big thing. But Tim.
Yeah.
We're talking about video games because summertime is the video game season. And
flipping through the stations.
And what else happened?
The boys don't cut them this time.
Okay, enough of that. Ninja Turtles, dude. Did you know they just released a Ninja Turtles brawler again?
So I knew about it.
Okay.
I did not know it just came out.
Yes.
Is it on the Switch too?
Yeah, dude. I know. That's why I feel so bad when I pull out my Switch, because of course I fucking got it on Switch. Of course I did. And of course I stayed in bed playing Ninja Turtles until like fucking midnight the night it came out.
Yeah.
Dude, it was like one of the biggest drops of the summertime game season for me, because I've been watching it, of course. Like, we knew it was coming, right?
Yeah.
Like, we were already alerted to it. And then it was just like, here's a bunch of video game announcements. And oh, by the way, the Ninja Turtles game is going to be out like later this week. And you're like, what the fuck, dude? Later this week? Are you fucking kidding me? You could have said later this year and I would have been stoked on it.
Like, oh, yes, it's coming.
I was so fucking pumped. My worry, because it's on everything. I mean, like, fucking everything. You name something, it's on it. Like, your cell phone, sure, it's on that. No, it's not. It's on all the consoles, right?
Yeah.
Switch, Xbox, all the Xboxes, PlayStation, all the PlayStations,
sure,
computer, right? Switch.
Yeah.
It's on all of it. And I was worried, like, oh fuck, man. Usually when something launches like that, even a game that is old school like this game, old school looking like this game, it sometimes just doesn't run on Switch, because Switch is like the lowest common denominator in all of this.
Sure.
Nope.
I'm pretty sure it can handle a brawler.
Yeah. A pixel art brawler.
Right.
Yeah. So it totally nails it. It handles it. Yeah. No problem, dude. I've played it already. And you just heard the music. Dude, the music is so sick.
Yes, for sure. And like, just to go back to the whole, like, what it can handle, like a cell phone can handle everything these days. So like, I
right. Yeah. We did talk about that in our mobile gaming episode, didn't we? Like,
right.
So you don't sweat this. You were right to not sweat it. I did, but only because I have other options. Only because I was like, well, I'll just fucking get it on my computer, and my computer will crush it.
I have had that option ripped away from me.
I know.
If anybody was watching and then they were a little bit confused at why I looked disappointed when Josh said it was on the Switch, it was because I had a Switch and it got stolen from me. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, ugh, if I still had that, I'm only, what, $50, $60 away? What was it? 60?
What? Oh,
no. How much
the game?
did it cost?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, dude. It's under $30. It was on 10%
Under
discount.
30, dude.
I know, dude. I know. And of course, you could get it on PlayStation, dude. I bet your computer would even run this game. Like that's how
Yeah.
small this game
I'd
is.
probably still get it on PlayStation because this brawler sounds like something, like it's not gory. And
Yeah.
my son has been asking to play video games. So,
Yes.
like,
Yes.
I think, get
And
it
you
on the
could totally
PS4.
play together and like,
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Because he
dude,
could,
because you can
like,
just cover him.
yeah, dude, I can, like, pull the weight. If he dies and we just, there's no quarters here.
Right.
Hop back in, bro.
Yep. Yeah, yeah, exactly. And he will see all the action happening on screen and it'll be fucking cool. Like
For
there's just a
sure.
lot going on and it'll be really cool for
Yeah,
him.
dude.
I totally think that will be something you could do.
Oh, yeah. He keeps asking. He wants to play video games bad.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I currently, like, I can't tell him. It's hard to get through to a 4-year-old, but you're like, I got nothing for you, dude. Everything I have is like not something you can handle.
Right, right.
You
Yeah.
don't, it's either like stuff I know for sure you can't play or stuff that is going to scar you for life.
Like you
Not,
will remember this when you're my age. Like I
yeah,
can't do that to you right now.
I have games that are scary for me.
Oh yeah,
And
for sure.
I'm an adult.
Right.
It's just like, this is not going to go well for you.
Right, right, for sure. But so I don't know if it might cost you about $30, but yeah, dude, it's not even a $60 game. It's so sick. It
Hell
handles
yeah.
so well. It will give you all of the nostalgia vibes, but it's
Nice.
new. And that's the stuff that I want because I know I've gone on the podcast a lot of times and been like, I fucking hate all this like remake bullshit, even though I'm gonna buy the Cowabunga different thing. This is totally like a reimagined version. Like you play it and you're like, this is what that game was.
Yeah.
You're gonna go back and play the old version. You're gonna be like, man, that game fucking sucks compared to this one.
Nice, dude.
It's
That makes me
super
excited to
good.
play it.
The thing that
Yeah.
really blew me away about it, and we're not going to turn this into the review of the Ninja Turtles brawler.
Could.
We could though. That might happen. That might happen. I'm looking at the clock. That could happen. We think of like the Ninja Turtles arcade game very like we think of it when we think of Ninja Turtles, right? We think of the arcade game and the fight stick and stuff like that and
Yes.
just
Yes,
kicking
for
ass,
sure.
right?
Yep.
So I think
Kicking ass with strangers.
right.
Random friends. What do they call it in Fight Club? Sorry to cut you off.
Oh shit. I don't know. I haven't seen
It's
Fight
like,
Club in so
that's what it
long.
was like. That's what it was like in Fight Club. Like, that's what I always think about when I talk about Turtles. is the random like the friends he makes on the airplane. I can't remember what he calls. Like the random friends. I can't remember it, but
dude,
that's
I
what I
know
think
exactly
about.
what you're talking about. It used to be one of my favorite
Yeah.
things. Shit. Anyways, I gotta move on to
We're on the random take.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's time to drink whiskey.
That's right. I got a Busch Light, but still.
Oh, dude, whatever you want. Busch
whatever you
Latte,
want.
you drink it.
That's right. That's why you put it out on a Friday. Well, or Monday if you're listening. Thank you for listening to the whole thing. Cheers.
Yes, thank you for listening on Monday. Or
But here's
whenever
the
you
thing.
listen.
I
Fuck you if you're listening on Wednesday.
But fuck Wednesdays, man. Don't listen to the whole podcast on Wednesdays. We don't like that.
Yeah, shut it off and come back on Monday when you're ready, bitch.
Yes. Okay. Okay. I want to tell the story about the so you on the Switch, the D-pad is actually 4 separate buttons.
Yes.
Okay, so I have an adapter that the D-pad is not. It's one full set, like how a real D-pad is.
Oh, yeah.
Like how a traditional D-pad is, because 4
Yep.
separate buttons. PlayStation is 4 separate buttons on the D-pad, technically.
I get you. Yep, I get you. Yep.
Okay, so I have an adapter, and I was playing it last night in bed, and I didn't have my I didn't have my left Joy-Con on. That was the solid D-pad. I had the 4 separate buttons.
Sure.
So I was playing with the with the stick, which is where I was going with the arcade thing. We think about it with the arcade, and I
Yeah.
think Joy-Con. I think that the joysticks, this twin sticks, I think they
Yeah.
translate really well usually from the arcade fighter style sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I was using the Joy-Con, and I was like, man, this ain't working for me. And I switched to even the shitty 4-button D-pad thing, and I was like, oh yeah, oh that's my shit right there, because it has the old school,
Nice.
like, it's not hold down R2 to run, it's not click L3
Okay.
to run, it's
Sure.
2 to the left, 2 to the right.
Right.
I did that backwards with my thumb if you're watching the video, but whatever, fuck you. It's the to run, it's the double tap right, and you'll take off.
Right.
And so I was like, oh fuck, right away. That breaks it for me. I need a D-pad for that. Like, I'm so much better with the D-pad in that regard.
Yeah. Dude.
So anyways,
You're getting me pumped on this.
I want you to buy it.
Double tap it is my jam. Dude.
Double tapping is my jam.
For real, dude. Like, that's what it was like on Virtua Fighter too.
I know.
To get out of the way is like ba-ba. It's like dodging.
That's how you dodge left and right. Like, that's how you move in 3D space. And on this one, so I watched a video review to make sure that I wasn't going to get fucked over by going and buying it on Switch and not buying it on a more powerful system. And this dude was like, also, you can move them north to south. He didn't say it in those words, but he's like, you can move them north to south and dodge. And I'm like, what? I haven't figured that out. But apparently you have that, dude. Like, you have the up and down dodge roll now, though.
So
does that make sense?
Yeah. Is it like a double tap? Did you try that?
No, I didn't, because I'm fucking stupid. No, I did not try that. I didn't try that.
I bet that's what it is.
Fucking works.
That sounds dope, dude. Yeah, to be able to roll out of the way of an attack
down,
because
up the screen.
Yeah, because before when you went up or down, it would like slowly walk,
which it still does. It still feels that way. Like, it's not that slow. It's sped up a little bit. You can tell from like a 16-bit era sort of side-scrolling brawler.
Yeah, I'm just thinking.
But it is like still fairly slow from north to south on the screen.
Yeah,
it really
and
is.
I'm just thinking of like the 16-bit era where it's just like, that's just not realistic. I'm a Ninja Turtle. Like, if a clan member is coming at me, I'm not gonna slowly walk to the left. I'm gonna roll. That's dope.
Yeah. So somehow, apparently it's possible, but then you also have a dodge button now, like full on dodge button. These motherfuckers just backflip out of the way now.
Yeah. Sorry, I just thought to myself, if anybody out there is listening that is not familiar with Ninja Turtles, the bad guys that are under Shredder's lead are called the Foot Clan.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about fighting like the KKK. I just realized that I'm just like, if a clan member is coming at you.
Right. Oh, fuck, dude.
They are called the Foot Clan.
Right.
And they're like purple masks with like black shirts and like gray pants.
Ninja and fucking feet things.
Yeah, ninja feet. Yeah.
The two toes, ninja toes things.
Yep. Like, and if you watch the movies, they're all like 14.
Oh shit. I gotta find out if this thing is cross-platform online, because you can play up to 6 players, dude.
6? You have 6? Hell yeah, dude.
Isn't that fucking crazy?
Dude, cross-platform would be crazy.
So if it is I'll check. I gotta look into it, because if you get it on PlayStation and I get it on Switch and we can mesh online, we're gonna do it. I mean, that's
dude, that would be nuts. I just picture it like just not going well. Like not like it wouldn't play well, but like the chaos of like people talking with each other while they're playing it. Just like, how do I roll up? Use the D-pad. Just like, I don't have a D-pad, you dick.
Like, I've got an arcade adapter on my PC. What the fuck?
Right. I don't know what you're talking about, bro. I got A, B, and C.
So
That sounds dope though.
yeah,
Like if it was cross-platform,
I hope
if it's
it's
on
happening.
everything,
It's on
if it's on
everything.
everything, and
Mhm.
cross-platform is a thing now,
Yeah, and 6
like
players is a lot of fucking people to get on a brawler. Like, you need a good crowd to be able to
sounds
fill a
like
six-person room. I mean,
chaos, bro.
yeah.
How big are the spaces
Dude,
that you're
they're
working with?
exactly what you think they are in the sense
Really?
of it
With 6
feels
people?
it feels like a 16-bit brawler. It's just new. It's just new.
Oh
Like,
my
it's just
god.
widescreen. It's just got a little bit to the
I
left and the
wanna
right that
play
it
with
didn't happen
6.
before.
4
It's
seemed intense.
I know.
6 sounds
4
like
was crazy. And now you have, like, 1 inch extra on each side of the screen, and they're adding
yeah.
2 people to that. It sounds wild as fuck, dude.
Since it's a side scroller, I think I could handle it and stuff, even though
Yeah.
um the oh, that one blew me back. Oh, that one came out of nowhere.
You blew me
Sorry.
back. I was like, "What is
Uh,
going on?" I paused for a second. I could have kept the podcast going, but I was like, "What is happening to Tim right now?"
so that one blew my brain up. I forgot what it is. Oh, I remember
6.
6 people
Mhm.
sounds so crazy that I remember like 4 being a little bit intense before.
Right.
And the only thing I think about when you say 6 people is, for me, is it gonna become like a Smash Bros type thing where I like lose who I am? But I
Right.
don't think so, because
Right.
it's not me fighting other characters. It's like, even if I lose who I am, it'll only be for a moment.
And then
I'll figure it
you're
out.
gonna find the orange
Yeah.
tail flying off your head. You're like, "Oh, I'm Mikey."
So,
Right. That's cool.
follow-up question. Have you looked
Mhm.
into what it's like for 6 players? Because there's only 4 Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. So I can talk about that as in it's been revealed and I played the
Yeah.
game and I know. So you start and you can choose from the 4 Ninja Turtles. The 4, Mikey, Raph, Donnie,
Yeah.
and
Can I guess?
yes,
Splinter and Casey Jones.
close.
Oh.
April.
You can play as April?
Yeah, dude.
The fuck is
I have not
Casey?
personally played as April yet. I've only played as 3 different Ninja Turtles, but April's on there. But also you can play as Casey. You
Okay.
just have to unlock Casey.
Okay.
Yeah. Casey's my man. Because he's got a hockey stick.
Oh,
Um,
hell yeah, dude.
yeah,
He reminds me of Vega.
I
They
know
both have that mask, so
that
you're just like,
mask.
hell
Yep.
yeah, here we go.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that happened during Summer Games stuff is Street Fighter 6. So they've already revealed Street Fighter 6 is happening, but
Yeah.
they started dropping gameplay and shit, and it's just like, oh, dude, fucking god, Street Fighter 6 looks so sick. Street Fighter has this crazy intense following, but dude, DOA, Virtua Fighter,
DOA's coming back out.
no, where are they? That's what I'm saying. Is like Street
Oh,
Fighter is dope. I love Street
yeah.
Fighter. One of my favorite games of all time. From Street Fighter 4 to 5.
Yeah.
Or I mean Street Fighter 2 to Street Fighter 5. Love it. Love them.
Yeah.
I'm decent at
Uh-huh.
them. But I keep seeing this Street Fighter love and I'm not seeing any like Virtua Fighter, DOA, like they just don't get the same coverage and I'm like, "Damn."
Dude, I don't understand. Like, they're so good. I've never understood why DOA isn't as popular as it is, but maybe it's just based off of those move sets.
Yeah.
Cuz Street Fighter's special combos are ridiculous.
Like to watch or
To do, even the
oh,
button combination that you have to
sure.
put in to be able to do those special moves is like off the charts.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
why I like Virtua Fighter so much, because like there are special moves, but it's nothing that insane, and it's nothing that uneven. Like if you can do a good button combination and catch somebody like without a block,
Yeah.
that's the match.
Right. Yeah.
Virtua Fighter is like an actual fight to me.
Sure.
You know,
With
like if
the
you can
extra
dodge
space,
and you
like,
can
with
block and
the
stuff,
3D
yeah,
space to be moving around.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It
There's
seems like
there's
3D fighters don't get the same love, and maybe we're just not in the fighting game scene enough, but
dude, I
that's kinda where I was
loved
going, for
3D
sure.
fighters. I
Oh, me
love
too.
the fact that you can like
Sidestep a motherfucker's high kick.
you sidestep them, the grappling abilities,
Oh,
the
yeah, grappling. Sure, sure, sure.
just there's so much to Virtua Fighter. Like that one's hands down my favorite.
Yeah.
DOA was kind of the same thing, but DOA was so visually appealing.
Yeah.
You know what
That's
I'm
the way
talking
of
about.
putting it. I
You
got
know
you.
what
I
I'm
got you. I got you. I got you. I got you.
talking
To teenage
about.
boys.
I think I
To
think
straight teenage boys, it's
I
visually
think
appealing.
anybody that played that game knows 100% what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
That's plus it was a good game
But
too.
that's
Like
the
the
part about it.
grappling.
That's the part that's always bothered me about it is it's so solid though. Like you get over that quickly and then all of a sudden
Yeah.
you just dive in and you're like, "Oh fuck, this is what this game is. This is what this game's
Yeah.
about." And you
It's a
get into
fun
it.
ass
Like
game
you don't
too.
give a shit. You end up playing as the old man with the giant ponytail. You don't have to have big
Oh,
tits.
for sure. Yeah. Yeah, you're not just staring at the movies bouncing the whole time. You know, like if anybody else is at home wondering what I'm talking about, go check out DOA.
Yeah.
Like if you heard boobies bouncing and your ears perked up, like take a peek cuz that's crazy.
Yeah.
A long long time ago, those physics were perfect.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh,
Right.
look at those
Right, and
things.
appealing and, like, it was something that got teenage boys to who were the primary consumers of video games into video games.
Oh, for sure,
Like,
dude.
I
We
there's no
are
way to
like
put it, but it was a marketing fucking scheme, but behind it was an insane is still a really
we
good fighting system.
at that point, we were one system away from square boobs. It's insane. Like I know we talk about like
Yeah.
memory cards and the space that it took and stuff,
Right, right, right.
but the leap that we made from like square boobs where we thought those were cool, where we're like, oh my god. And they had a Game Shark code that you could play as Laura Croft,
Right.
like nude.
Yeah.
And you're like, look if she's naked. And you see those pictures now, and you're like, this is the dumbest thing to get over excited over ever. Like she literally has boxes for breasts with a
Right.
pink dot in the middle. You're like, this is the dumbest thing ever.
Yep.
And then you go one system later to
One
DOA
generation. Yep.
and you never see anything, but you see everything.
Enough. Yep.
You're like, this is insane. So yes, it's
But
that
yeah,
might be the biggest technological leap in
of
human
all
history
times. No,
of all
I'm
time.
kidding.
We went from
But
square boobs to realistically moving nice boobs. Sorry to go off on a rant. I'm just saying,
no,
check it out.
you're
It's
but where yeah, okay. Okay, well,
but
I'll
the
reel us back in. I'll
game,
reel us
yeah.
back in.
I was also reeling it back in. The game was fantastic.
Yeah,
The
and it
storyline was horseshit, but like none of the storylines are good
but
in a
none of the
fighting game.
storylines ever make any sense. Like even in okay, so Street Fighter 6, back to the Street Fighter 6 topic of like summer games time here has Street Fighter 6 be a big thing. There's walking around and kicking ass in Street Fighter 6. Off top spinning off of the brawler topic here. Like
Like they have a brawler version of Street Fighter.
yeah, it's like apparently it's going to be in Street Fighter 6 and then like you fight your way to your next actual one-on-one 2D fight. Nobody
Okay,
really knows, but that's what it looks like.
dude, that sounds cool. A
Yeah,
brawler to get to your next fight.
right. Yeah,
Like you have to be good at another kind of
a
game
different kind
to
of
get
fighting.
to your next
Yeah.
version of this other game.
Uh-huh.
That's cool.
And to bring it back to
I
Ninja
could
Turtles again too is the I when I was playing I was like, "Oh shit, this is more like a fighter than I expected," because I remember like 16-bit fighters is like you could just kind of you could just be like punch, 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 kick, punch, 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 kick. And there wasn't necessarily a combo to it. There's combos.
Yeah, right.
In this Ninja Turtle game, there's combos to it. So like if you get into if you hit the kick button, or if you hit the normal attack button 4 times,
yeah,
and then you try to go to the kick, it remembers you hit it 4 times and it will execute the combo.
Nice.
Yeah. So that was like a bigger change, but like I like that, and that's why I brought it into this whole. That's how all of this fighting thing, like, it all overlaps, dude.
That's pretty dope. Like, I mean, it makes sense with the computing power that it has.
Right.
Why not start integrating like other types of games into this one?
Yeah.
I think that's where like some of the like Borderlands, where you make it like an RPG style game, but it's also a shooter.
But it's first person shooter, like mechanically.
You're able to like change stuff around and like add stuff. It makes the depth of the game makes it so much cooler.
Right.
Also, going back to like Street Fighter, I hope for the fans' sake that there are other versions of that game and it's not forcing you to do the brawler. The brawler still sounds fun.
It does.
But I was just thinking about like games that I've downloaded on my phone.
Yeah.
Where it's like, this is like a zombie puzzle game or whatever. And I'm like, dope, that looks cool. And then you like download it to learn that like that puzzle game is like a very small fraction of it, the ad that ran. And then they're like, build the city, upgrade these characters. And I'm just like, I'm not putting in RPG time into a cell phone game. I just wanted to kill some time playing these puzzle games while I'm waiting in line to get a fucking haircut. You know, I don't want to like build a whole city. I don't care about this that much.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Which, funny enough that you bring up the RPG stuff, because the Final Fantasy VII remake is going through all its shit right now.
Yeah,
it's
dude,
on a whole bunch of different levels.
It looks good.
It is very good. I just beat the integrate part.
Okay.
Like the Yuffie story, for anybody that understands that. I just beat that offshoot. But there's this version that they just announced, that Square just announced, where it's on your phone, and it's like sort of these like up-resed 2D graphics, like the old school style, but they're high poly counts.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Oh no, I'm just.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna say something. Okay, so it looks like the old Final Fantasy VII versions, like these smaller set pieces, 1 or 2 characters on screen, very close up. They look kind of kiddish. You know, these like low poly models, generally speaking, but they're high poly count compared to what the original Final Fantasy VII was running.
Sure.
So it goes through all that, and it's like almost like they up-res the low poly stuff. Then you go into the battles, and it's like the Final Fantasy VII remake models. Like, it's just like full, completely recreated model.
Okay.
Like, what the fuck is going on here? I have no idea what's going on, but the reason why I bring it up is like mobile. It's on mobile.
Sure.
What? Why?
Yeah.
Why? God damn it! Why?
Money. You appeal to a bigger market because everybody has a phone.
Because there's 14 billion phones in the world.
Right.
Yeah. Fucking.
Yeah. It's like talking about like appealing to a different market. That's what I heard is why Drake put out his new album. Like, this is off topic.
No. It's keep going.
Dude.
Where did he put out his new album?
I don't know where you find it. I listened to it on YouTube after I heard that it wasn't that good.
Oh, okay.
And wasn't that good was so nice.
It's a piece of shit.
It's so bad, dude. It is the worst shit I've ever heard.
Oh my god. I'm not surprised, because generally speaking, I don't think he puts out good albums. I think he's a good feature artist. But
I did not hear a single song that sounded like it would ever make it on the radio.
Oh my god. What?
It was I had headphones in,
Yeah.
and half of the beats sounded like annoying versions of Casio keyboard preloaded. I couldn't handle it. I'm just like,
Oh my
who?
God.
Like, I was like, you and all the yes men around you
Right.
are
Uh-huh.
doing way too many drugs.
I gotta watch that movie.
How did any of you think that this was a good idea?
Right.
And so I heard the one dude on Barstool Sports. He's the reason that I checked it out,
Okay.
because he was like, Drake's new album's out. It's good. It's trash. It's fucking trash. And then he says that, like, he puts out a tweet saying that he's in the future, yo, like, sorry if you didn't like it, but like you got to catch up and stuff. And he's
right.
like, you can't put out an album and say that, you know, just switch up genres. It's like a dance album. And like switch up genres and not tell anybody, and then just
Right.
be like, if you didn't know, fuck you or whatever.
Right.
It's the worst thing I've ever heard. I couldn't. I'm listening to it, and he's just like repeating himself, saying the same thing over and over, and the beat has just annoying noises. One of the songs, I think he's trying to talk about, like, I shouldn't say I think. He is blatantly like not trying to like make any references or analogies or any like clever stuff. He is just straight up talking about sex. It is not good. And it sounds like there's like the squeaking of like a bed.
Sure. Yeah.
And like, who thought that that would be good to put it in a beat? I wanted to throw my phone out the fucking window. It's just like, and like you took the most annoying noises in history and decided to make a beat out of it. I listened to it once and I wanted to kill myself. And how do you think that anybody wants to listen to this a second time? Or anybody wants to play this at a party? Right. Everybody at the party is like, can you please stop the fucking bed squeaking?
Stop the.
I can't.
Turn off the new Drake record. Who the fuck put this on?
Who put this on? It's garbage. I look at the comments. There's so many people that are just like, ugh, just all on his dick. It's just like every person over and over. Like, everything he touches is fire. Like a garbage fire. This is hot trash. This is ridiculous. What is your?
This is a garbage fire. Goddammit.
It's so bad. I had to comment on there. I was like, it sounds like, what did I say? It sounds like the Weekend with severe CTE over Casio keyboard like beats. It's so bad because it's like, it's all him singing too. It's no rapping. It's like auto tune, just like, I have feelings, and it's over and over and over the same thing. I have feelings.
Right. Nothing changes.
I have feelings. I have feelings. If that annoyed you, don't listen to the new Drake.
Don't listen to the new Drake. All right.
Okay. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay. I enjoyed that because the review of the new Drake record might be there might be a half, like, we'll slash the TMT review and the new Drake record review.
Yeah, reviews.
One thing I had to bring up with you for the Summer Games thing, right before we go back to Drake, is so much fucking space horror, dude. Like,
really?
Pick a version of Dead Space that you wish would have happened. It's fucking gonna exist this year.
Like a different person making it, or Dead Space is coming out?
No. There is a Dead Space remake that's happening, just so you know.
A remake. Okay.
Yeah. But no, I'm talking about, like, EA wouldn't make the next Dead Space, so now other people have made it, and there's like 8 people making a new Dead Space. Like, there's so much space horror, dude. And I was like, oh, I gotta tell Tim this for sure. Yeah. So we're gonna be having different conversations over the next year for sure, because I'm gonna keep my eye on him. Make sure that you know.
What time is it? I'm gonna be up late tonight.
just Google Summer Games Fest.
Yes.
And the next video that comes up, or the first video that comes up, I guarantee it's going to be the one that you want to watch. There's like, dude, there's so much space horror that went on in just that one video. It was like the theme.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you're going to be stoked on it.
Horror is a good genre. Mm-hmm. Space horror just opens up endless possibilities. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Oh, there was a Kojima thing. You know Kojima.
Yeah.
We know Kojima's fucking greatest of all time. Yeah. But we got to do what we always got to do on a podcast. What is it? realaf.tv/contact. Contact the podcast. That's basically how you email us. Just go over to realaf.tv/contact. You can email us, shoot us, give us some feedback, shoot us a letter about like, hey, you talk too much about the Drake record when you're supposed to be talking about video games. That was a joke. Go over to YouTube, look up Real AF TV. Remember, real like fish and real. Give us a subscribe. We could use the subscribers over there. The crappy videos doing really well. Want to turn over some of those views into subscribers, turn over some of those views into listeners of the podcast, hopefully. And hopefully you're sharing this with a friend that likes listening to some fishing and some random shit in the second half. Tim, what did I miss?
Yep. I don't know, dude. I don't know enough about new video games that are coming out.
No, I meant, what did I miss about all that closing bullshit that we have to do at the end of a podcast so that we can get this thing built up to be a little bit bigger?
Yeah, I don't know. What did you miss? I don't know.
Probably
like and subscribe and all that stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, like my dude. Damn it.
You almost had
it. I was gonna say the dude's name, and now like I'm a couple whiskeys in, and it's evading me. Ryan Sigler, like my dude Ryan Sigler.
Yeah.
Always says that liking and subscribing means nothing to you. It means the world to us. If you could, please do it.
Can't put it any better.
Yes.
Yeah, dude. Can't put it any better. You might as well just quote him for sure. Well put, dude. Well put. Because, you can't put any better than that. I second that. But I have to say, I have to bring it back to the video game thing because of Hideo.
Yeah, dude.
So Hideo left, Konami. There was a weird fucking thing there with Metal Gear Solid 5. Yep. So he goes over, he starts his own shit. Of course he did. He probably got funding immediately because he's fucking Hideo.
Sure.
And he starts his own studio. Gets a huge deal with Sony. Makes Death Stranding. Sort of an exclusive. Not really. It's a really weird. He's independent. Don't worry about it. Comes on Microsoft's thing and goes, yeah, I'm making a Microsoft Cloud game, guys. That's what we're doing over here. It goes away. That was it. Fucking Hideo move. Like, it was the most Kojima shit you've ever seen in your life.
Right.
Because he just comes on Microsoft's stream, who up until now has basically been a Sony guy, and he just goes, yeah, it's so cool to be making something that can only run on Microsoft Cloud Gaming. Microsoft's got the cloud, and it's so impressive, and we're just going to make something that can only run in the Microsoft Cloud. So, later, bitches. What the fuck just happened?